It's a unique space. The Husets Biograf is a unique space. It's not a commercial cinema as the other cinemas in Copenhagen that we know. We don't get the big American movies because we are completely the wrong type of theater to play those movies in. We don't have popcorn and candy. We can't compete with the bigger cinemas. We couldn't compete 10 years ago. They won't give us those films that make money. Also, in my own personal taste, I don't find that so interesting. I'm not that interested in the new films that are being made. I don't know that much about them, and I'm not that interested in them. You could call me a hopeless nostalgic, but I like old films. Started as a cinema in 1973, and the building itself was squatted a year or two before Christiania, I think in 1969 or 1970. Collectives inhabited the whole building, this group of buildings, so it was very much in the spirit of the times. It actually has quite a colorful history of different groups and different people trying to make a cinema operate here. It's always had a few problems because it's a little hard to find for people. It's on the second floor. And there is a certain wisdom in America, in any case, that if your cinema is not on the ground floor, then it will go out of business immediately because people don't want to go upstairs. When I moved to Denmark in 1993, I had already done a show here in 1992. So I knew the cinema, and then after I moved here, every year I did a couple shows here and kept in touch with them. So I was kind of loosely involved with it. And then in the beginning of 2005, I was kind of employed or became attached to the cinema as a volunteer, and I worked here 2 or 3 times a week. And then in June of 2009, Bjarne Nielsen retired because the cinema just wasn't viable anymore as a business. He was losing too much money. So I stayed on in my position more or less because I was the only one who could operate the 35 millimeter at that time. And they also gave me the freedom to continue doing what I had been doing for the last 5 years. Oh, we get some pictures of naked women. So I reached out to the community around the cinema and called for volunteers, and now we have about 30 volunteers who help us run it. So there is no specific budget to run the cinema, but it is, like all of Huset, it is financed by the city.
Husets Biograf og Huset i Magstræde er jo en af vores små perler i København. Noget af det, jeg synes, der er mest fantastisk i København, det er, at alt skal ikke være for alle, men vi har noget for alle. Og der synes jeg faktisk, Husets Biograf har en helt enestående funktion lige præcis i det statement der.
But I think Husets Biograf really has fulfills a niche that no other cinema in Copenhagen does. It's not the Cinemax, it's not a mainstream audience. And that is just people that are on our mailing list or know about the kind of program we've been doing for the last few years. So we have built up a small audience that come to those very strange programs.
Husets Biograf har en stor plads i alle filmnørders hjerte, tror jeg. I hvert fald alle danske filmnørder. I og med, at det er egentlig få biografer, som simpelthen sætter film op, som du som filmnørd ikke har hørt om før måske, eller ikke kender til. Og dermed bliver en inspirationskilde til at opleve en helt ny slags film, måske film fra et helt nyt land, en helt ny instruktør, den slags. Husets Biografs eksistensberettigelse er dels nogle events, som du simpelthen ikke får i andre biografer, som for eksempel Room, og så er det dels et stort spænd af film, helt tilbage fra 1920'er, sort-hvide 1920'er-film, frem til avantgardistiske amerikanske indiefilm, som du ikke kan se andre steder.
This weekend we're having a combination poster and book sale with a documentary mini festival, so to speak. We've put together about 7 or 8 documentaries about strange or criminal personalities, outlaw personalities, and so we're showing those so people come in for the films and then they also see the posters on display in the lobby. So we've kind of combined the 2 events, and it's been working pretty good. We've had a good crowd, and we're real happy with it. We have reinvented ourselves as kind of an event biograph, an event cinema. So we try to make every show special. We usually only show films on the weekends. We try to have parties connected with the films when we can. We've also gotten into showing psychedelic light shows, creating shows around parties and things like that, using Huset in general, using also other rooms of Huset, sometimes taking a portable 16mm projector into one of the other rooms and showing films at a party type thing. So it's the one thing we do have, the fact that we are connected with Huset, that is a real asset. It is a real advantage. No other cinema has that, so we want to use that and make going to the movies more of a social thing. To survive in this environment, you really have to do that. You read a lot in the media and hear a lot about cinemas converting to digital projection, which will change the basic dynamic of how films are distributed and what kind of films will be shown. So there's a lot of talk about converting to digital, that film will be dead and over. But it won't be over here. We will continue running real film for as long as possible. I mean, and I hope that they all convert tomorrow so that now we can advertise we are the last cinema running real film. This is one motherfucking dirty theater. This is a motherfucking dirty theater. Nobody cleaned it lately. It's really witchcraft. Nobody knows how the fucking thing's running.